I got 1,000 qualified leads in 24 hours using Claude Code across LinkedIn, YouTube, Reddit, and X. No Apollo, no Phantom Buster, no Sales Navigator, no paid scraper. The total bill was about $3 in API tokens. And here is the part that matters. They were not raw email blasts. They were qualified, scored, enriched, and matched to a real outreach signal. So reply rates ran 5 to 10 times what you get from cold lists. In this video, I am giving you the full system, the exact prompts, the exact workflow on each of the four platforms, the qualification layer that does the heavy lifting, and the outreach generator that turns a scraped row into a message someone actually replies to. By the end, you will be able to copy this, plug in your own ideal customer profile, and run the same loop tonight. Quick frame on the stack before we open any prompts. Claude Code is the orchestrator. It opens browsers, calls APIs, parses pages, and writes files. You do not need a single SaaS account. The four platforms each give a different kind of signal. LinkedIn is where job titles and companies live, so it is best for matching to your ideal customer profile. YouTube is where buying intent leaks into the comments under tutorials, reviews, and how to videos. Reddit is where people literally type the words I'm looking for, recommend, anyone use before they buy. X is where replies under your competitors and complaint posts about their tools are basically a list of warm prospects. Claude Code stitches all four into one file, then runs every row through a qualifier and an enricher, then writes a personalized message keyed to the signal that flagged that lead. That is the whole system. Now we go platform by platform. Platform 1, LinkedIn. The trick on LinkedIn is to never log into Sales Navigator. You do not need it. You start with a public LinkedIn search URL filtered to your ideal title, location, and company size. Then you ask Claude Code to drive a Playwright browser, paginate through the public results, and pull the visible card for each profile, name, headline, location, current company. You save the rows to a CSV. The exact prompt I use looks like this. Open a Playwright session, go to this LinkedIn search URL, scroll through pages 1 to 10. For each profile card, extract name, headline, current company, location, and profile URL. Write the rows to leads underscore LinkedIn dot CSV. Deduplicate on profile URL. Claude Code handles the scrolling, the rate limiting, and the failure retrieves on its own. You get back a clean file. From a single search, I usually pull about 300 rows in 20 minutes. The headline field is gold because that is where buying signals like founder, head of growth, or hiring show up. Platform 2, YouTube. This is the one almost nobody runs, and it is the highest intent of the four. Pick 3 to 5 competitor or adjacent channels. Channels that teach the problem your product solves. Then, you let Claude Code use yt-dlp to pull the comments from their top 20 videos. You ask it to read every comment and flag the ones that sound like a buyer. Asking how to do something. Saying the tool in the video does not work for them. Asking for an alternative. Saying they would pay for X. The prompt is, for each comment, Return a JSON object with username, comment text, video URL, and a buyer score from 1 to 10 based on how likely this person is to pay for a tool that solves the problem in this video. Then sort. Take everything 7 and above, and you have a list of named, public, opted in commenters who literally raise their hand on a competitor's video. The replies write themselves because you are responding to a specific question they asked in public 3 days ago. Platform 3, Reddit. Reddit is the most direct intent signal on the internet because people type the actual words I am looking for before they buy. You do not need any paid scraper here either. Claude Code can hit the public Reddit JSON endpoints. You give it a list of subreddits where your buyer hangs out, plus an intent keyword list. The keyword list looks like recommend, alternative to, anyone use, looking for, just bought, switched from, hiring, budget for. Claude Code searches each subreddit for the last 30 days of posts and comments matching those keywords and pulls the username, the subreddit, the title, the link, and the body text. Then for each match, it scores intent on a 1 to 10 scale and it tags whether the person is asking, complaining, or already buying. A complaining or already buying tag is your strongest lead because the wallet is open. From a tight list of 5 subreddits, I routinely pull 200 Reddit leads in under 15 minutes. And the conversion when you reply with a real comment, not a DM, is significantly higher than cold email. Platform 4, X. The play on X has two halves. Half 1, mine the replies under your direct competitor's last 50 posts. Anyone replying with a complaint, a question, or a comparison is a warm lead. Half 2, run a search for buying intent phrases. Anyone use recommend A, looking for, alternative to, plus the category your product sits in. Both halves go to Claude Code, which uses a public scraper or the search endpoint to pull username, post text, post URL, and reply context. Then, the same scoring layer rates intent. The reason X works so well is that the reply itself is the entire context for outreach. You do not have to guess what the person cares about. Their post says it. The DM you send back can quote them, agree, and offer a tighter solution in 2 sentences. From competitor reply mining and intent search combined, I usually end the platform pass with about 250 X leads. Now the secret sauce, the qualification layer. This is the step that turns raw rows into qualified leads, and it is where every other scraper stack falls apart. After the 4 platform passes, you have somewhere around 1000 to 1500 raw rows in one big CSV. You do not message any of them yet. Instead, you write your ideal customer profile in plain English. Mine looks like founders or heads of growth at SaaS companies between 5 and 50 employees, currently shipping product, English speaking, comfortable with AI tools, not at agencies. Then you ask Claude Code to read every single row. Look at the headline, the comment, the post, the company name, and score how well that person matches your ideal profile. 1 to 10. You drop everything below 7. You also drop duplicates across platforms by username and email. What comes out the other end is your qualified list. Out of 1500 raw rows, I typically end up with about 1000 qualified. And inside that, about 100 hot, meaning high intent, plus high fit. The hot bucket is what you message first. Step 7, enrichment. Because a name and a headline does not get you to a conversation. For each qualified lead, Claude Code runs an enrichment pass. It looks up the person's company website. It guesses an email pattern from public sources. First, .last at company.com is the most common, and validates with a free SMTP check. It cross references their LinkedIn or X bio to confirm role and seniority. It pulls the company's stage and rough size from public signals. Everything goes back into the same CSV as new columns. The point is not to find every email perfectly. The point is to give the outreach generator enough context that the message it writes feels human. Even when the email is missing, you still have a username on the platform where you found them. So the fallback path is a platform native message, a Reddit comment reply, an XDM, or a LinkedIn Connect note that quotes the original post. The enrichment step takes about 30 minutes for 1,000 rows, and Claude Code parallelizes it without you having to think about it. Step 8, the outreach engine. This is where the whole pipeline pays off. For each qualified lead, Claude Code writes a personalized message that quotes the exact signal that flagged them. If they came from YouTube, the message references the video they commented on and the question they asked. If they came from Reddit, the message references the subreddit and the problem they posted about. If they came from X, the message quotes their reply. If they came from LinkedIn, the message references their headline and current company. The prompt is write a 3-sentence message, no fluff, that opens by referencing the specific public signal in the row, names the problem they implied, and offers one concrete next step. No hard pitch. The result is messages that read like a smart human notice them, because in a real sense, one did. My reply rate on these runs 5 to 10 times higher than a cold list of the same size. That delta is the entire point of the system. Anyone can scrape names. Almost nobody pairs the scrape with the signal that created it, and that is what gets replies. Let me walk you through the actual 24 hours so you see the rhythm. Hour 1 to 4, LinkedIn pass. You set up the search URL, kick Claude Code at it, and let it paginate. While that runs, you start the YouTube pass on a second Claude Code session. Hour 4 to 8, YouTube comments are downloading and Reddit and X are running. You are not babysitting any of these. You are just letting them complete. Hour 8 to 12, all 4 CSVs are merged into one. The qualifier is running. You take a long break. Hour 12 to 18, enrichment pass on the qualified list, and you start hand reviewing the hot bucket while the enricher runs. Hour 18 to 24, the outreach generator writes a draft message for every hot lead, and you spend the last 2 hours editing the top 50 by hand before you actually send anything. By the end of hour 24, you have 1,000 qualified leads in a CSV, 50 messages ready to send tonight, and a repeatable script you can rerun next week with a different search URL. The actual hands-on time is about 3 hours. The rest is Claude Code grinding while you do something else. Quick break. 90% of people watching this will take the AI advantage. and leave. But the people who subscribe early usually win early. On Facebook, subscribe is the supporter button. On YouTube, it is free. If these videos give you an edge, join us. Now back to the lead system. Bottom line, you do not need Apollo, you do not need Phantom Buster, you do not need Sales Navigator, and you do not need a single paid scraper. Claude Code plus 4 free platforms, plus a qualification layer, plus a signal aware outreach engine. That is the whole system. Comment leads below, and I will send you the full 4 platform lead scraper prompt pack as a free PDF. Every prompt I just walked through is in there. Every CSV schema, the qualification rubric, the enrichment checklist, and the outreach templates ready to paste into Claude Code tonight. Hit subscribe if you want more long form breakdowns like this, and grab the 4 guides linked in the description. They cover Claude Code, Codex, Claude in Sales, and Claude Certified Architect Prep. Catch you in the next one.